I am joined now by the Director of Scouting for Prep Baseball Ohio, 𝗦𝗽cie𝗿𝘁𝘀 Jordan, it is great to have you back with us. We are now over a month into the regular season, and teams starting to separate themselves a little bit as we get deeper into the conference portion of the schedule.
Yep, absolutely. But when you're talking about this region, you never know because there's so many deep, talented teams. So the first time you think you have a good beat on what's going to happen, the next week can be completely different. There's a ton of really good games this week. So we'll see. But yeah, it seems like the cream is starting to rise to the top a little bit.
Speaking of surprises, we've been talking about them week in and week out. Of course, the Ottawa Hills Green Bears, they're not a surprise anymore. Ottawa Hills with some big wins earlier in the season, but picking up another big one over the weekend in a matchup of two top 20 teams going up against Bowling Green. Anything surprise you about that performance?
At the beginning of the season, I would have told you yes, but nothing Ottawa Hills does any more surprising me. They continue to just be a giant slayer across the state. And the scary thing for their opponents is, yeah, the usual suspects, once again, that we've talked about over the past few weeks showed up. The 𝗦𝗽cie𝗿𝘁𝘀 Twins were 3 for 5, 3 RBIs. They also scored 3 runs. Blake Neppert had himself a good game, and then Bluffton commit Jack Ginsman does what he does, kept him in the game long enough for his offense to get in control, score some runs. But the scary thing is the bottom half of that lineup is starting to produce. Now they had 7 different guys with hits in that game. So if that bottom half of the lineup starts to match what the top half does, then look out.
Well, talking about pitching, Anthony Wayne and Perrysburg turned out to be a pitcher's duel as both starters combined to throw 65% of their pitches for strikes.
Absolutely. Benny Robinson over at Perrysburg continues to get it done. And then Will Rada came in and finished off the game through the last 2 innings. And Will's a pretty cool story. About a year ago, he was throwing like 73, 74 miles an hour. But over the past offseason, he's really dedicated his time to the weight room. He's added some significant weight. Pitched with a pitching coach down in Columbus, and now he's a guy that can run it up to 90 miles an hour, turn himself into a college prospect. So he'll be going to Denison at the next level. So a really cool story there. I'm glad he's starting to factor in for Perrysburg. And then a guy for Anthony Wayne, Noah Sample, he's really starting to take over, getting the ball in big games for Anthony Wayne. He's doing a heck of a job. He went the distance in this game. Gave up only 3 hits against a lineup that we've talked about week in and week out, has a chance to go off for double-digit runs at any point in time.
It was all about pitching last week, and their come-from-behind win over rival St. Francis. It was St. John's lefty Reese Majors that got it done for the Titans, both on the bump and at the plate.
Yeah, Reese had a heck of a game. Did a really good job on the mound, which he's been doing for them all year. And then he hits at the bottom half of that lineup, but he had 3 hits. Big game for him. And then on the other side, a sophomore that people needed to make sure they keep an eye out for is 𝗦𝗽cie𝗿𝘁𝘀. He's a big physical kid. He's been up to 88 when we've seen him. He threw 4 strong innings. This game was really close through 4 innings. But yeah, Reese held him in there long enough. They got the better of him. But man is a guy to keep an eye on over the next few years in the area as well.
Something that we'll be keeping a close eye on, in addition to the prospects, is the weather. They're finally starting to look a little better over the next week, and the timing couldn't be better as there are plenty of great games coming up this week right here on BCSN.